Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, whenever you decide to be listening to us epic podcast of For the Love of Oats. Welcome back to another episode. This is episode 2 with us, your luscious hosts, returning back from a terrible night's sleep of about, what are we saying, 6 hours? About that. It's quite good for me, though, to be fair, isn't it? 6 hours. I'm liking that. And coming back off the back of an arse deload, Mr. Jack Richardson. Good morning, Jack. How are you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling clogged up at the moment.
Nice. Guys, I hope you're not eating your breakfast, because obviously that is not something that we like to listen to in the morning. However, but you are coming back from illness, aren't you? So it was a tactical rebound that you did. Small mini cut in the form of about 72 hours.
Yeah.
Got your shreds back.
At the moment, your mic, Vic, is screaming at us just in a style of like ticks. So
it's not too bad. It just happens, like it just happened a few times, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm sure listeners will appreciate your voice just being that little bit louder and screamier.
Yeah. Louder and screamier, because I'm not loud and screamy anyway. You should always be scarce. Never underestimate Tiny. But anyway, as you can hear, we have a third voice today, in the form of AJ. Everybody knows AJ because he's Jack's coach. He's my best friend, and he always wears a cap, which he is leading up to this morning. So hey, AJ, how are you?
Hey guys. So yeah, I'm all good. Thanks very much for having me on. Appreciate it. Obviously, we've run a podcast together before, and we've had Jack on mine, so we're not sort of unaccustomed to a podcast together, which is nice. But
it's good to have a threesome with us today, though. It's nice.
Strong.
strong. Now, as you all well know, us guys all together, we never do these serious type things. There's so many serious podcasts out there that sometimes it kind of gets a little bit annoying. So we like to have a little bit of fun. Yeah, like to have a little bit of fun on our podcast and just chill out a bit. Hence the reason why we called it For the Love of Oats, because why not? So in this particular episode, obviously, I know that AJ is very, very busy, and Jack, of course, is clogged up, so he needs to go and do something about that. So we are going to get straight on. I know, right? It's absolutely disgusting. But first of all, why don't we just do a little bit of a catch-up before we dive into the Instagram DMs? I've got some ridiculous questions that came through on mine. But yeah, so let's do a little bit of a catch up. So AJ, what's going on with you? You are starting your prep, right?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why are you both crying with laughter?
I'm just fucking dying.
It's just screaming at me.
The audio.
Yeah. So AJ, for those that for some reason are watching us but don't know you, tell us a bit about yourself. Give us a bit of background about you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, bit of a background on me. So I started competing when I was 18. So my first show was in 2014, and I competed as a teen, like Jack did. So I competed in 2014, 2015, and sort of got the buzz straight away, really, like for everything with regards to bodybuilding, not just me competing, but understanding the process and like every sort of little variable of it, I just loved. So I already knew that was something that I wanted to involve myself in a bigger scale rather than just me competing. So it was a case of in 2015, when a few people asked me for like advice, as you do when you get in shape, people are asking you how you did it. So in 2015, I sort of like got more of that, and that really sort of like merged into what is now, Team MBM, Made by Morris, whatever. Like that was the start of it in 2015. So it's been, pretty much coming up to 5 years of doing that, which is my full-time job. I coach for a living, and I love it. That's probably like the best decision I've ever made is to get into coaching and to have an impact on people's lives in that way, whether it's through fat loss or gaining tissue for stage or ultimately getting on stage. So yeah, that's what I do on a daily basis. Outside of that, obviously, I'm looking to compete this year. So Vicky did ask about when I'm starting prep. So I aim to start prep at the end of February. The 24th is the date that I have set. but it depends on a few variables as to whether anything interrupts that, or we don't know what will happen in the next month. But provided everything goes swimmingly and I'm aware I want to be, then that will be when it starts, and that will be with the goal of getting on stage. Just this year with the UK FBA, I explained as to why I'm doing that in a little bit more depth on my last podcast with George, if anyone's interested to know why that's the case. But it's primarily like the majority of reason is just because that's where my goals are. I want to get a WNBF pro card. So and like over the course of like the 3 years competing that I have done, focusing on doing both really taught me the lessons that if you want one of them really badly, or you want to do well in one, you've kind of got to sort of put your eggs in all in one basket. Because I sort of said to the question myself, I said, is there anyone that's ever really won both in the same year? And I don't think there's been really anyone that's ever done that, because of certain reasons, whether they've faded at certain points or, not been their best at a certain show. So for me at this stage, it's really a case of trying to put all my eggs in one basket and chasing down what I truly want within competing. And the end goal ultimately is to, continue having a very successful coaching business, coach not only like amateurs, but coach pros to the stage, and be very well known for that. And also be a pro myself and a successful one as well, like competing at Worlds on a regular basis. That's the end goal. So however long that takes, I may be lucky enough to be I may be in a position to battle for that next year, or this year, sorry, should I say, in terms of like achieving that status. But it might take 5 years. I don't fucking know, but I'm willing to wait as long as it takes. I don't care. I'll just keep working until I get it. So
you're young enough as well, so you've got age on your side. At the end of the day, you started really young in the industry, so it's not like and there's nothing absolutely wrong with it at all. But if you first come into the industry at like 40, 45, that time isn't on your side in order to achieve certain statuses. But you do have other elements that you can have on your side due to age, obviously muscle maturity, muscle density, that thin skin from years of eating tilapia, because that's what you read on the internet. Always goes better than young people who haven't eaten copious amounts of white fish.
Yeah.
But, moving on from that then. So Jack, what's new with you? Just a quick catch up before we get into the DMs.
So this week I've just focused on trying to not drop my weight as drastically as possible. I went down to 201 pounds. I've climbed back up to 206 pounds, which is good. So I'm eating again. I'm on the way up, but I've had a bit of leaky bum syndrome going on, which is I've never had anything like that ever before, like with a cold or a flu or anything like that. I've just always been able to march on, so this has been a bit of a different challenge for me. But yeah,
you had it before the Northern, but you just had to march on because you were getting on fucking stage.
Oh yeah. But that just happened on the day. It was like, right, okay, today you've got diarrhea. No other days.
That was nerves, though. That must have just been nerves.
It couldn't. No, not the way I felt. Like I couldn't. I had no energy or no appetite. Someone put a bowl of oats for me in front of me, and I was like, oh, I can't do it. Molly was dressing me. She was like, I don't want to go to school. That's what I was like.
All day.
That's not nice. Oh, I remember you messaging me actually, because I was asking you about how Jack was getting on, and you were like, "Oh, mate, he's like sick as fuck."
I know.
I just said, "Don't shit yourself on stage." It's the only
exactly. It's the best excuse to clench your ass cheeks though, and get those striations really rock hard. Please don't shit. Please don't shit. Please don't shit. It's great. Works. Anyway, enough about leaky bum syndrome and that kind of thing. But now you are raring to go, aren't we? And we have got legs tomorrow. So that's something to look forward to, I suppose.
So what's new with you, Vic? Of course, you had the strongman event yesterday.
Yes, I had Britain's Strongest Man. So that was a long day traveling up to Sheffield. It was a really, really good event. Giants Live always put on an amazing show. There's, loads of fireworks and stuff like that. And we were seeing the Conan's Wheel that came out, which hasn't been out in a long time. And it's an absolutely brutal thing to do. It's literally just like picking up a quad bike and walking around with it in a Zercher type carry, like a front carry, and just for as many rounds as you can. And the record holder managed to do it for 2 1/3 turns, which is just disgusting. But yeah, absolutely went very, very well. Athletes all over did well. Obviously, New Britain's Strongest Man got crowned. The Stoltman brothers both obviously got a podium as well. World record was broken as well by Tom Stoltman on the Castle Stones, which was incredible. I don't know if anybody knows about Atlas stones being picked up and put on various different levels, but you start with a lighter stone, which isn't light, like at all, and then put it on a high castle tower, and then the heavier the stone goes, the smaller it goes. But Tom Stoltman actually broke the world record, and he annihilated it and did all 5 stones in 16 seconds.
That's insane.
It was nuts. It was like, holy shit. And his brother Luke did it in 20 seconds previously, and even that was like a fast run for picking that up and rolling it. I mean, I did take the footage of it, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I'll put it on some Instagram stories and stuff for people to watch who's interested in strongman. But yeah, it was really it's a privilege to go and see that kind of thing being broken, like world records, and it's like achieving world pro status as well. It's a privilege to go and see that, because it's not something that you see every day. And especially what these guys put themselves through. It was ludicrous. But yeah, excellent night, really good one. Worth the travel and worth getting a numb bum rather than a leaky bum. But I had a numb bum because we were sat there for 4 hours. But yeah, all good. Big shout out to my boys as well, Ben Badger Brunning and Aaron Page, who did an exceedingly amazing job. And they're not too broken today, which is always a nice thing. But yeah, anyway, that's enough about catch-ups and stuff like that. So Jack, do you want to start off with some questions for
yeah
A of the J?
So AJ, it's a massive year for yourself. Since your last season, you've gained quite a big following on social media. So does it feel different going into this season? Do you feel like there's a lot higher expectations of you, a bigger amount of pressure?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So I don't actually remember how many followers I had when I went into my 2017 prep, but I remember getting 200 likes on a post was like a really good post. So it's definitely quite different in terms of the interaction that I have as well, and the people that like want to follow the prep. It's completely different scenario compared to last time. So that's, nice. It's cool for sure. But also it comes with, like you said, the added pressure. I actually, to be honest, for me, I respond quite well to the pressure. I kind of like it because I feel like I have people watching what I do and I can't fuck up. I can't look bad, or I can't, not turn up in shape, or any of these things that sort of like, maybe if I didn't have as much pressure, perhaps you'd think, oh, okay, it doesn't matter as much if I'm not quite there yet for this qualifier or whatever. Like, I just want to be bang on all the time. So yeah, I kind of like it, but at some point it is going to get a little bit like, I guess for me it's going to be avoiding comparison, because I want to win really badly, and I'll start to think, if I don't win, will people think that I'm still as good as I was? Because obviously last time I won quite a bit. There is obviously, the jump up to the men's open class. So I'm not expecting necessarily to like dominate or anything like that. I'm not expecting to be ahead of the pack by a huge amount, because it's a very, very difficult class. But the whole reason why I took 2 years off was to be competitive enough to try and win something. So, but yeah, the following also, it's a help and a hindrance to the goals, I think. Especially like the interaction. The interaction is sometimes great, but also it's sometimes a bit frustrating. Like when you're getting a lot of questions that are very repetitive, and
Like, how do you make your oats?
Yeah, and when you're irritable, it's easy to answer those questions in a dickhead way, and I just need to avoid doing that because it's not good for the long run, really. Because you lose one follower, then you just like, if I came up in discussion and that follower had got a shit answer from me, he'd just say to his mates, "Oh no, he's a dickhead" or something like that. And I don't want people saying that, so
no. I think
that's that.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges. That's a challenge I set myself last year when I prep. I was like, right, okay, main aim is not to turn into a dickhead, because you're in that state of being very, very irritable. So if you can do that, that's almost as impressive as getting a trophy, I'd say.
Yeah, to a degree, yeah, I agree.
I think everybody's going to have a dickhead moment, though, at some stage, even behind closed doors. And even when you do have a big following that realistically, like you said, there is a lot of added pressure because people look up to you, people respect you, people are interested in what you are doing. So you almost feel the pressure that you have to document your prep. You have to reply to certain people. But what about the people who you find asking you or replying to your story every single day? Obviously, not me, because that's allowed. But, the same person just repetitively kind of going and asking you a certain question, because I'm sure we've all got that one follower who does that quite often. How do you respond to that? Well, let's say the off season first, and then what do you think may happen in prep?
Yeah, so I definitely have a few followers like that. I think at some point it becomes a case of like, if they're asking questions that make sense and they're learning from me and I can actually help them, then that's great. If they're asking questions that maybe a little bit too much in depth, or they're asking me stuff that realistically I think should be part of what coaching offers, then I'll literally say to them, look, like, this is unfair on my clients that I'm, giving you this amount of constant support. So if you want, to sign up for coaching, you can, and I'll happily help you. Or, just ask questions about this or that. And I'll kind of just be like, I'll stand my ground with it. And I've done that a few times to some questions. Like, people ask, could you like sort of rejig my program? And I'll send across like screenshots of their program. And I'm like, no, like, no, I can't, because that's not what I'm here for. Like, I can't rejig your program for you without knowing anything, just seeing your sheets or whatever. And then sort of like the daily ones, like, little questions here and there, not a problem. Bits of support here and there are, nice. But this is one thing I find with socials, like the people that, obviously you two are fine, you can message me as much as you want, but people that message really frequently or comment really frequently on posts saying like, oh, you're looking great, or, keep it up, or great lift. Like, I've had some people that like have got big followings, and I know they're not bot accounts, who comment on my lifts saying great lift, and they've commented on the post within 20 seconds of it being up. So I know for a fact they haven't watched the fucking set. They just say great set. And I'm like, I may as well just delete your comment, because it's just like, it's just such a rubbish comment. And I know exactly why they're doing that. They're doing that because they get their name on the page, they get more people go to their page, and they get more followers. So I've never liked that, because, when I say someone looks good, or when I say something is good, people see it as like good, like actual good thing. They see it as good praise, as opposed to just a very generic, this is great, or you look wicked. And I'm not looking forward to sharing physique photos, really, because the amount of comments of, you're ready, or this or that, or, do you really think you got 12 pounds to lose? Or do you really think, like, from people that have basically never seen a bodybuilding show before? It's just like, it's very difficult. And then you get people saying at the end of prep, oh, you're looking flat, or you're looking this, and that's just like a complete head fuck.
So, you do get.
That's another one of my goals, is just kind of like block out that a little bit and focus on my own feedback, and then obviously sending pictures of people that I trust, and for them to give me feedback. So Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You do get a lot of opinionated people on, oh, you're looking so flat, and oh, you're looking this. The thing is that like 4 weeks out from a show, you're going to look flat, and
absolutely.
it's okay to run flat every now and again. It's kind of necessary to really dig in. I saw a post actually. I can't remember whether it was this morning or whether it was yesterday because days are running into each other. But it was somebody actually showing a client physique photo and saying that they're not going to push their weight up so high this off season because they've never truly got down. So, and it's so true. And people are so afraid to run flat that they always constantly want to be full and, you know, hunger wise as well as muscular wise. And they can do that to their detriment because they never truly get low. I mean, I've seen people, especially in Cliff Wilson's tribe, and they run so flat and so carb depleted. And so, I mean, have you seen those? Holy shit. Sometimes like big, huge guys are running like 30 gram of carb on a training day. And it's like, holy shit. But, you know, running that, it doesn't matter 2 weeks up to the show in order to get down because you then feed up onto the stage, which is obviously a good thing. But again, opinions run high on that side of things, don't they?
For sure.
So AJ, you mentioned that you had a 2-year off season. In those 2 years, would you have changed anything in regards to it, or would you say you've done everything perfect and ticked every box you wanted to tick?
There are definitely some things I would have changed, like some like niggles that have happened and some, you know, frustrating periods of time. But I would change them because I would want to make it perfect, but no off season's perfect. So I wouldn't change them because I actually needed to go through a lot of those things to like build up more mental resilience and understand that, you know, when I'm coaching clients through an off season, nothing is just fucking sunshine and rainbows. You know, you're probably going to get injuries. You're probably going to get sick. You know, you're probably going to get pissed off at, you know, some rotations in your sessions and things like that. But overall, if I look at it as a 2-year period, and in bodybuilding, in 2 years, so much shit can go wrong. You know, like so much shit can go wrong. You can get chronic injuries. You could get illnesses. You could get this, that, you know, whatever. And I actually look back and think, well, actually, it was pretty solid. I think I had also a good balance between, you know, being a bodybuilder and also like, you know, being able to go on holiday and being able to relax and, you know, do more life stuff, move house, you know, grow up quite a bit. You know, if you take me back 2 years ago when I finished my prep, you know, I was living at home. You know, I'd always lived at home. I hadn't had any different. So in that 2-year period, I've moved out on my own. I've lived on my own for a year in a city centre. I've paid all my own bills and everything like that and learned how to like be an adult kind of thing. And then I've moved to, you know, a 3-bed house. We got a dog, you know, all of these things. I don't think I would have been able to do that in that sort of time frame if I had been competing. And then alongside that, if you look at the numbers, I've maybe built anywhere between the very lowest of 4 and the very highest of 10 pounds of new muscle tissue. So you can't complain about that really. So
No,
yeah, I'd say it was pretty good, mate. And all the shit that's happened, I've just learned from it really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all a learning process at the end of the day. But I think you've nailed this off season. If you just comparing like the back shots are just crazy. Well, everything's changed. Everything's changed. But I just like the back shots are nutty at the moment. For yourself. Have you got any questions, Nick?
Yes, I've got a funny one because again, I don't want all of this serious type stuff. So sliding into the DMs, I can't remember the name of the person who actually said it. However, the question is, it's fit_N2 who has said, Hi guys, thank you for that one. Do you believe in aliens?
Is this a bot account?
It actually isn't. But I don't know. But I actually think that's a really good question to ask. Do you believe in aliens?
It is a bot account. So I've forgotten the name of the fucking guy, but I listened to a podcast on Joe Rogan, forgotten the name of the guy, but it's a really, really good podcast, and you should definitely listen to it. It's like one of these guys that basically he worked at that. Is it Area 42 that it's called? I think
Area 51.
Area 51. Fuck's sake. Where the 42?
42, dude.
Fuck me. Area 51. Too early.
It is.
So he worked there, and he basically came out from that sort of working in that situation, and came public on loads of different things that can actually be proved, like to some extent, to be true, about like extraterrestrial aircraft and things like that they were holding in that area. So after listening to that podcast, I was completely tripped out by it, but I was definitely in belief that there's something that we don't know about, or that people do know about, that's kept away from us. So I think there is. And if you haven't listened to that podcast about fucking Area fucking 42, then
that's it.
go and listen to it. You won't find it. You won't find it by searching that.
No, but then again, that's probably why you said it, because Area 51's a myth and doesn't exist. It's just there for tourists.
Yes.
Area 42, that's the one where they hold all the aliens.
That is it. Yeah. It's underground.
Exactly. Jack, what about you?
Oh, that's awesome. I've just been told we've removed the time limit on this. That's brilliant.
Amazing. That's it. You've just been charged $112.
It's
That's fine. It's worth it for the
directly to your credit card.
Yeah, just come straight out.
I believe there's aliens. I believe there's aliens for sure.
So why do you believe that there's aliens?
Because there's so many planets. Well, the universe is.
There are planets. Yeah, there's lots of them.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of planets, but the universe is so big, and there's so many stars. There's got to be so many solar systems out there. By chance, there's got to be another form of life elsewhere. So
just by the off chance, that's why you believe in them.
Yeah, I would say just by the odds. I don't know if they've visited us. I don't know if they've popped over and said hello. I don't know if that's the thing, but I do think there's some aliens out there. Some little.
Indeed.
Jack, do you think in a hierarchy form, do you think they are above us and they're looking down at us and monitoring us and thinking like, like we look down at like ants and shit?
Yeah.
Do you think they're above us?
You see, I was watching this documentary on Netflix where it's called Extraterrestrial Explained. And
were they vegan?
They weren't vegan, no.
They were very vegan.
and it basically stated that, and they've got to have a high standard civilization where they must be more advanced than us. And I think they might be too snobby to come to us and check us out. Like, we're not good enough to be visited. So I think that might be a possibility. I think there may be life that's more advanced than us out there.
I think the aliens have got to be more advanced, and they've got either that or they're on the same level playing field as us, but they want to feel a bit more superior because apparently all the people that they abduct live in like the outback and are hillbillies and drink moonshine, because those are the only ones that ever report being abducted by aliens. So they have to have that higher intelligence because they're comparing themselves to, I don't know, Bobby Go Joe or something like that, who have like 3 teeth and don't have
they abducted me.
Yeah, exactly. They abducted me.
I was poked in the anals.
But then they brought me back. It's like that shit, we can't get anything more out of this guy, and there's nothing up his ass. So, but that's the other thing. Why is it that they think we hide shit in our ass? Well, we do hide shit in our ass, but why do they think that we hide the secrets of humankind in our ass? Why do they always have to be probing? Why can't they just like look into our eyes and eyes are the windows to our soul and all that?
Like a day.
Don't know. Not sure. I personally do believe in aliens. I just think that we have to have something out there, really. I don't know why. I just think that. Well, I mean, look at Cliff Wilson. When he diets down, he looks alienated. So maybe he is one. Maybe he is. He can get inside out shredded. He's not vegan, but maybe that's maybe that's his secret. Maybe he is vegan behind closed doors, but he just doesn't want to relay that information for fear of being found out that he is a vegan alien. So possibly that.
That should be the title of the podcast.
Do you believe in aliens?
Cliff Wilson is a vegan alien.
A vegan alien. That's it, you see, because everyone is approaching this whole vegan thing. That's how you can get uber shredded. Be a vegan.
That's
because, you know, magic.
That was funny.
Anyway, next question.
I have a question off. I'm just eating these. Your client, actually, Vic. It's quite an interesting question. Do you agree with weed and bodybuilding? Smoking weed whilst you're bodybuilding?
No, I don't think I do, because I think there was some study shared about the impacts on sleep, that it can actually negatively affect sleep. So when people think that they're getting like relaxed by it, they're actually not. They're stimulating the nervous system in a way that will actually impact sleep in a poor way, or at least impact sleep cycles to the point where you're not getting like as much REM or deep as you would if you wouldn't do it. Like, so for example, George stopped smoking weed like recently, like for I think the past week and a half, and he said how he felt way less lazy and lethargic. And so when I was growing up, like, I was surrounded by quite a lot of people that were smoking weed, and they always seemed to be like, without being harsh, but they always seemed to be like lazier and like just lacked drive, and also were like when they did it frequently for like a long period of time, started to change quite a bit personality wise. So I'd personally be against. I definitely, for anyone's asking, I don't think there's any benefit at all to it. I think if anything, there's probably some detriments now and again, as like, you know, something to just relax or just have a bit of fun or socialize or whatever. I don't think there's any huge issues, as long as you don't do it an hour before your polygraph.
Yeah, don't do that.
You'll fail.
What happened?
I think that was the sound of when you failed your polygraph. Just played for us there. It sounded like someone was ringing a doorbell extremely loud. Is it your doorbell going off?
You sound underwater, Vic.
You sound like you turned into a vegan alien.
A vegan alien.
Check the mic. Are you back? Talk. No. Lost all voice. Switch your microphone to the computer microphone.
I'm sorry, we're experiencing technical difficulties at the moment. We'll be with you shortly. But yeah,
it's some elevator music, Jack.
I've heard the studies. It basically takes away the REM, and this is why when you stop smoking weed, you have crazy dreams afterwards.
Because you've got so much REM
built up.
your REM is just rocketed.
Yeah.
What's called rocketed REM.
Rocketed REM. But yeah, the polygraph thing was crazy.
Yeah. So I think also, like, you know, you could, if you're searching for something like that just to relax yourself, there's plenty of things you can do to relax yourself that isn't weed. You know, you could do like you could take ashwagandha like you've done before. You could you know, take a CBD. You've taken that already, so you know. So there's lots of things that you could do. That
meditation.
Guys, can you hear me now?
I can. Yes. I can.
Hi. Have I got any kind of like ding dong doorbells or anything?
No, you're okay.
No, you're sound. So, what's your opinions on weed and bodybuilding, Vic?
So I have my technical analysis person stood here as well, and he's taking the piss out of me for doing this. He's like, "You're turning into a crab." Right, we'll just see how this works. And then if not, I'll have to find out something else. It's fine. Apparently I'm ding-donging doorbells. Anyway, thank you very much, technical advisor. We won't edit that out because, again, this is not a serious podcast. I think it's just funny. So, weed in bodybuilding. Not a massive fan. Not a massive fan. Unless that you do have glaucoma and you have medical grade marijuana, then that's okay, because that's allowed. And if that is the case, you will have to get a WADA exemption certificate in order to compete. It's done it again, hasn't it?
It's okay. You were just for a little bit, then you're all right.
You're
So
fine.
we got to the point of the WADA exempt. It's crazy.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, you would have to get a WADA testing certificate to basically say that that is allowed for yourself. And a lot of people don't understand about WADA doping. If you do have medical needs for something, you can have, because like some people have to have oral steroids for asthma and stuff like that. And obviously that will be able to get picked up on P-test, blood test, whatever, hair samples, because I know that we only deal with urine analysis in bodybuilding, but for some of my other performance athletes who are in like Olympic games and things like that, they do have other samples that they can use, and obviously it will show up. So they have to have a WADA exemption certificate in order to do it. But no, I'm not a massive fan of the use of weed in bodybuilding. I wouldn't actually say that weed is used in bodybuilding. It's not a performance enhancing drug. It is a performance detriment. Personally, like what you were just talking about, being very, very lazy, it's a powerful nootropic as well, which basically means that you will be extremely lazy throughout things, and it does take a while to recover from. It's not just something that you can have a quick puff on and then wake up the next day and feeling fine, focused, clear, and level-headed. So no, I don't think that it is beneficial for bodybuilding. However, like AJ explained, if you want to use it on a social occasion, then that is your choice. Just be aware that marijuana is banned in natural competitions. CBD isn't. Some derivatives are, but marijuana itself is a banned substance. So
yeah. I know a lot of bodybuilders use weed to help them with their appetite and to help them eat, basically.
To get the munchies. Yeah,
basically. Yeah. So I suppose it's each. It's each to their own, because if you find that you can do everything you need to do whilst using it, then fine. But I know a lot of people are in denial about it. They're like, yeah, I'm fine, and they can't get out of bed in the morning, or like they just can't stop eating. They can't control themselves. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a grey area, really. It's each to their own. But however, I do think it's a good alternative from alcohol. Instead of going out every weekend and binge drinking, I think if you were to stay in and probably have some weed, that would be less detrimental to the physique, even though despite that it will affect REM and things like that. I just think it would be a better alternative, in my opinion. This is all opinion, but I don't think it does benefit bodybuilding as such, as for performance and productivity. I do.
Indeed.
I do have a question, which is quite a decent question. If I could get it up. I've just lost the story. Bloody hell.
Shall I ask a question then, seeing as you've lost the story?
Okay, I've got it. Oh. Who do you know, AJ, male and female, who do you think of who you know personally has the potential to go to the Olympia? This question was asked by Sievert2109, the droid.
The droid. The bots. This is a very specific bot question, to be fair. Usually they're just, hi, follow me. Yeah, so well, Vicky put her hand up, so obviously I have to say Vicky, because if I wasn't to say Vicky, I'd get a bollocking. So in terms of who I know all the way to the Olympia, it's a hard question because it takes a lot. It doesn't just take hard work. It doesn't just take, time. It takes genetics as well.
It does, yeah.
I think with your age on your side, Jack, and the goals you have, it's definitely a possibility. We're yet to see whether it's really a possibility yet, because we don't know realistically how you're going to respond to staying in a more anabolic environment for a long period of time. We don't know what your receptors are like. We don't know when you're going to bottom out to a stimulus. We're not going to know how much drugs is going to take for you to get the muscle that you need.
Yeah.
So, you could ultimately respond very, very well for a very long period of time to a dose that's not going to create crazy sides or long-term health effects, and you could grow and get all the muscle you need, and you've got, everything else you need to really get there, to be honest, provided the back keeps on improving. So I think, the age you're at and where you've, started that journey is definitely in your favor. But, we're definitely aware that there's a fuckload of work to do to get there. So that's one. That's obviously, because I know you quite well. Within sort of the other circle of my sort of friends and things like that, I think it would be I don't know many people that work much harder than Cuba, to be honest, in terms of ticking his boxes and doing everything. He has got age on his side, but he's also been doing this for a long time. And I think he himself and, people like Jordan are very aware that how much they are pushing to be able to get as much muscle as possible. And there comes a point where the tools in your toolbox have been used and you haven't got much left to really use unless you want to take catastrophic risks. As much as he'll say it to me, is like, as much as you monitor blood work and as much as you do this for health or take this health supplement or this health stack or whatever, at some point to get where you want to be, unless you're Ronnie Coleman or, very high level genetics, you're going to have to get blood work into a shitty place or do this or do that, because that's essentially how you're going to have to sort of push the limits and see where the threshold is. So I don't know I don't know sort of what ceiling he's got really. He is young, but he's like I said, he's started this journey that he's put himself on since he was 17.
How old is Cuba now?
He's 25, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, 25.
Crazy.
But he doesn't look 25.
Wow. He had a hard paper round as a 14-year-old.
Yeah. So yeah, but his work ethic is very, very good. He's just like a robot really when it comes to even the off season, just ticks every box. So it'd be nice to see him get there. I think his girlfriend Meg as well, her shape is definitely the potential to get there. She just needs more muscle really, because she's come up from bikini to figure. But these are just people that I know from my local area that I know that are very hardworking and have good genetic potential. Mm-hmm. Also, of course, we're at the very early stages of it, but I think it would be, and obviously she doesn't know what route she wants to take in the future, but it'd be really nice to see Danny up there. I think from a work ethic potential, she's definitely got the work ethic to be able to do it. Yeah. But it's whether she wants to go down the route of ultimately having to take a little bit of, assistance to get there. Because let's face it, all the top bikini girls at Olympia are running something because they have to really to retain the muscle and the foot. That the difference is the fullness, the look on stage.
Yeah.
They get really lean, but they have not crazy amounts of muscle, but the really the perfect balance of fullness and condition, and that is an assisted look, really, in my opinion.
And they're hard as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what us naturals, especially natural females, struggle to really nail is that full look with really good condition. So, if she does go down that route ultimately, then that would be something really fucking cool. And I don't know if going to more assisted shows and watching her would convince me, but I don't think it would, to be honest. At this stage, because I've been to already a couple of two bro shows and a couple of PCA shows, and I don't know, like my genetic potential and things like that. I'm not sure where I'd be. I definitely wouldn't want to be in some of those shows because, you know, like when you go to an actual show, this is no offense to assisted guys, but when you go to an actual show, every class there's quality. You know, every class there's a couple of really, really fucking good physiques at every single show, qualifier wise. And I went to a couple of the like assisted shows, and I just really wasn't that impressed at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the depth and the quality was just fucking atrocious in some of them.
It's it's like some people rely on the gear and not the training and nutrition, and this is why I recommend to pretty much anyone thinking about bodybuilding or being assisted is to go through the natural route, because you have to rely solely on your training and nutrition, and you know, 9 times out of 10 that yields better results anyway than who's assisted who just relies solely on gear to just get them through.
It's one of the biggest things that I really kind of take on board from one of my close friends, Dave Crossland. So Dave Crossland is my mentor as well when it comes to iPads. Now, they're not just called performance enhancing drugs anymore. They're actually called image and performance enhancing drugs. And image is always the aspect that comes first, because the majority of people who go down the route of using exogenous assistance and hormones is purely to make them look good. Now, whether or not it be bodybuilding wise or just general population wise, you'll be surprised to know that the majority of users in the UK are actually middle-aged women who are 45, between the ages of, well, actually 43 and 50. And they're the largest number of exogenous users because they use fat burners. So it's something that makes you, I know it's crazy, right? But it's something that really makes you think. And the thing is that people who want to look good go down the route of exogenous assistance very, very, very quickly, because they have that, because they just don't want to work hard and stick to the diet. They want to rely on the drugs. And that's the reason why you see such a differentiation. Is that a word? Yeah, thank you. We'll use that on these assisted stages, because you will have people who don't use anything who go on stage and they don't look as big, as hard, as conditioned as the people who do use. But then but they look better than some of the guys who do use, because they're relying on the drugs, not the hard training and the diet. Because they're just like, well, I don't need to diet as hard. I'll just take some Clem, or I'll just take some T3, and I don't need to grow this kind of muscle. I'll just kind of take Tren, or I'll take some more testosterone this stage. But there's so much that's involved with enhancements and just these little bits of extra assistance that you don't really think about. People sometimes take assistance for their jobs. You know, have you heard of chess players ever taken assistance?
No.
Chess players is a massive group of people who do take in performance enhancing drugs, because it keeps them focused. So they take certain drugs. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to see a big beefy bodybuilder obviously sat there in the middle of a square who's taking 500 milligram of test every single day in order to play chess.
Chess player taking Tren and just go,
exactly, you know, that's not the case. Yeah.
Fucking smash the table up, mate.
Exactly. But yeah, they do, you know, because they take it to enhance their focus capabilities. So there's a huge amount of population of people who do take it, and it's not just bodybuilders or powerlifters or strongmen. So I can't actually remember the first part of the question. What were we saying? Was this the weak question?
Was anymore.
Well, the question was who do you think has potential to reach the Olympia?
A chess player in the middle of New York Square. Yeah, on Tren. I think that they would be that would be quite good. But yeah, that was what we were saying, like assistance to aid that muscle bikini look and things like that. Yeah, people in Olympia are big and they take assistance, and I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who has the potential to go up there straight away. Everybody just work hard and keep cracking it. Anyway, moving on to a different question, because I'm bored of that one now. A different question and a funny one. Favorite flavor of ice cream to all three of you? Jack.
Oh, okay. I like just mixing my ice cream. I like to have chocolate, vanilla, and mint, and just all of them in one go.
Chocolate, vanilla, and mint.
That was just the three.
I was like to say it's like Neapolitan, but it's not Neapolitan. That's
no.
Neapolitan. Yeah, but like I don't just have one scoop, one flavor. I just I'll mix them all. To be fair, that's
okay. Pick a mix of the ice creams.
Go on then, AJ. Your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Nice. I haven't had ice cream in so long.
Yeah. Halo top.
Halo top.
Halo top. Because that's not ice cream.
Halo top lights. I would go for. I don't know, man. Vicky, can you go first? Give me some inspiration.
Give you some inspiration. Do you know what? I'm partial to a white chocolate Magnum.
Oh yeah, I quite like them.
They're very yummy.
I quite like the ice creams. Jack, you gone like.
I know. I'm fading.
Have
you got the shits again? Is this what's happening?
You're going so flat. I think I quite like the ice creams with alcohol in them, a little bit of alcohol.
Oh, really? Like the Baileys type ones?
Yeah, Baileys or rum and raisin.
Oh, I knew you'd say that. That is such a weird flavor of ice cream. Rum and raisin is just not right. It is not right. I'm sorry, people. If anybody likes rum and raisin, you're wrong.
No.
Okay, and that is the one thing that I'm putting my stamp on. Rum and raisin ice cream is wrong. It's wrong.
Perfect. There's so many things that are going right in that ice cream.
Oh no, it's just wrong. Why don't you just have vanilla with raisins in it and just have a shot of rum? That's better.
Yeah, but what about pouring the rum in it, mixing it in?
No, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's like the Italians who do that affogato type thing with the espresso. Oh my God, have you tried that? It's like, oh Jesus, that's all the alcohol and no ice cream. Ice cream is supposed to be savored and flavored and, enjoying every mouthful. But you should enjoy every mouthful of your food.
I think Vicky cares a lot more about ice cream
than I do.
It was the only flavor that came to the top of my head.
Yeah, the top of your head, rum and raisin.
Fucking chocolate, vanilla, and mint.
it's very un-Christian Grey, isn't it?
Oh, man. Do ketchup flavored ice cream?
No.
What? That's just weird.
Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah, Marmite.
What?
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it, no. I am stuck on the chocolate, vanilla, and mint.
Chocolate, vanilla, and mint. It's just weird. I do like pistachio ice cream. Pistachio is quite good.
Yeah, see, I like that. I should have just said that fucking ice cream.
Exactly. And then you wouldn't have had to have that kind of like one cross for the rum and raisin thing. Pistachio is so much better. Yeah, exactly. Now, secondary question to that: would you have your ice cream in a bowl or in a cone?
It depends what mood I'm in, really. To be honest,
out the tub.
And I think ice cream. So going off your past description of what ice cream is, you said ice cream is ice cream. Ice cream is to be enjoyed and to be eaten as ice cream. So if you now say that ice cream belongs in a cone, I think you're contradicting yourself because the cone is not ice cream. Indeed.
And I totally agree with that. And do you know why? Because I can't eat cones because I'm a celiac.
Perfect. Well, the cone can get the fuck then.
Exactly. Hence the reason why I have an ice cream on a stick covered in chocolate because that is gluten-free. See, people, there is method to my madness of liking Magnums. Soleros are nice too and low calorie. They're good on prep.
I like a Solero.
Oh dear. Right.
I have an interesting question of what I think is definitely a bot account. Molly Lolax.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's definitely a bot.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
You'll have a 10-year-old Barney.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh no, not Molly and me story. No, don't do this.
So by then, I'll go through a few different things. So personally, myself, selfish goals, I'd like to have won a world title with the WNBF in the pro class.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have really battled for an overall as well in the pro worlds, like Brian Whittaker did. I think the last few years, obviously with Kendall winning it, it's always going to be the big guy that is the most favourite to win it. In any bodybuilding show, it's always when you go into the overall, the light, the middle, and the heavy. If the heavy's in good conditions, balanced, is always going to be probably the best. But, you know, Brian Whittaker showed that, you know, if the heavy or the middle is like not quite in shape, then it's possible to try and eke your way in. So that would be one of the goals. Obviously, by then I'll be like almost 34 years old. So I'll probably be at my, I'll probably be at the back end of my peak sort of shape. I think you can still like keep getting better towards 40, but let's face it, with the way I train, I'm going to have a few injuries that are not going to be great by that point. Like, I really like touch wood. I really don't want to tear anything up, because as soon as you tear something, that's not good. And that really ruins your shape. There are bodybuilders that do compete with like big pec tears and quad tears, but let's face it, they just look shit. They just look like they're going backwards. And I've told Danny, like, the minute I start looking like I'm getting worse, I just don't want to go on stage anymore. Because I love getting on stage, but I love getting on stage for self-improvement, not just because I want to get up there. So, that'll be sort of competitive goals. Business goals would be to be like regularly coaching high-level athletes, like pretty much all high-level athletes, some pros, both in the IFBB and naturally. By that point, I'd like to be more proficient with being able to coach both sides, as well as to being able to coach more enhanced and more natural as well. Obviously, my main niche should always like to be natural, but you know, with what's been happening recently, of like a couple of my like natural clients, you know, like yourself, Jack, who wants to take the other route, and I'd like to be able to just say, oh, okay, you'll just stick with me totally, and I'll be able to do everything, and confidently be able to do everything the right way as well. So that'll be something to work on over the next 10 years, and sort of like life shit. Like to have just like obviously my own house, which is, you know, being paid for, not being in a rented position anymore. I'd like to be in like a nice property as well, with like room, like lots of space for people to stay, Barney to be outside and shit like that. So that's a personal goal. I think like that personal goal I'd like to get done sooner rather than later, to be honest. I'd like to get onto the old property ladder now that I've found a place where pretty much I don't see myself moving from here in the next 10 years, if I'm honest. That's pretty big to say that as well, because I think once you've found a place where you like, obviously the main thing for us is just the training facilities, and the place itself is, you know, nice. It's good enough, and so yeah, that's probably be here still, but hopefully in a nice place, and that'll be that. I think, and that's pretty much all of my goals. And health. I just want to be well. That's the main one. I want to be well, and well, primarily I want my family and my friends to be well, but me being well would be quite nice as well.
So Jack's goal for the next 10 years is to stop suffering from leaky bum syndrome.
Yes,
because that takes years off his life.
Just form solid logs, really. It's the main aim for the next 10 years.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So obviously we've been chatting away now for about an hour. So I think that we can wrap it up very beautifully. Are we going to have one stupidity question before we leave? Because I think that's fun. Strong, stupid question. Okay. I'm just going to think of one off the top of my head. Oh, hey, AJ, why do you always wear a hat, and why do you wear it backwards?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually had this conversation with Finn yesterday, because I still get my hair cut quite frequently. So I don't actually wear a hat like 24/7. I don't actually sleep in it, you know, just contrary opinion. But so what I tend to do is, like, I've always felt like I don't like fucking around with my hair at all. Like, it's a distraction. So like, if I see my hair is like wrong or all over the place, I'll like play with it, and that for me is a distraction. So when I put on my hat, I just work, and when I'm in the gym, I don't look at myself, or I don't look at myself in the mirror or anything like that, looking at my hair. Or like, if I didn't have hair, I'd just go bald, because it's just way more efficient, time efficient. you know. So I yeah, Jack, you just need to start, you know, increasing the dose, and then you'll start to see that go away.
See,
But do you know what? Some studies have actually proven as well that the more often that you wear a hat, the more constricted your hair follicles become. So you're going to go bald anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's not showing any signs of that, that's for sure. My hair grows like an absolute motherfucker. But only on my head. It doesn't grow anywhere else. Can't grow a beard, but I can just grow loads of hair. So yeah. And also, like, I just generally, like, especially in the off season, I feel a lot more comfortable in it. I don't like. Danny says she prefers me without a hat. I don't. I think I look worse without a hat, and I just feel very comfortable in it, and I feel like more confident just not fucking around my hair. So
do you think it completes your outfit? It completes you as AJ.
Yeah, to a degree, you know. Like Jordan Peters has those one pair of Nike free runs that are, you know, run down. Like, that's his thing. My thing is a hat. So yeah, like, that's that. But when I diet down in the evenings, I don't wear my hat. And when I diet down, when my face is a bit leaner, I definitely wear the hat way less, because I just like the way that I look more. I like having a jawline and things like that. I just feel like I look better. If I didn't compete, I'd be 20 pounds lighter than where I am now, and I probably wouldn't even bother wearing a hat that often, because I just feel like I look better. So
do you transition from a cap in the summer to a bobble hat in the winter?
No, not really. I'm not a huge fan of bobble hats, to be honest.
What about just a normal hat without a bobble?
Maybe. I feel like the bobble hats or the normal hats are just a little bit too warm for the head.
Yeah, and you see, because I have like half a head of hair missing, I do like a thick hair. Oh, yeah. There he is. You see, Annabelleism.
You already look like 10 times more aesthetic with that on.
Now you see. Now I'm jealous. Now I'm jealous. Hold on. Wait a minute.
You look like George Osborne. You literally do. You need to just dye your beard black, and you'll literally
look fucking not in the game.
We're on it.
That's better. That's better.
It's a bit,
I think it actually suits you a little bit.
It's a bit tight. I'll lose all my hair.
Just releasing it off.
There you go. That's better. Now I've properly fucked it. Guys, if you're listening to this on SoundCloud or whatever, you are missing like pearls of wisdom that we're giving you about how to wear a cap.
That looks great, Vic, to be honest. It looks so good.
Think that looks all right?
With your new hair as well, it looks like you're a skater girl.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does.
Like
maybe I should give up bodybuilding. I should give up bodybuilding and just become a skater girl then. I might do better in that.
Yeah.
Right. So on that note, we are going to sign off from. I look about fucking 12 wearing this. What the hell?
I've lost age. Yeah.
I've lost age, which is hilarious considering that I am a decade older than all of you lot. Oh, and I look better than you. So there. I'm just going to end it on that. Right. So yeah. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in to For the Love of Oats. With us three, it is goodbye from me. It is goodbye from them. And I will catch up with you all another time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.